Hey America, I'm going to show you a trick that I'm making a chocolate cake. I've already thrown most of it together. I'm having problems recording, so yeah, I didn't get the beginning. I'm making comfort food because just, yeah. But anyways, I'm going to shred some carrots right into the batter, okay? And this is going to add a moisture factor to the batter. It's like when you put pudding in and stuff like that. But yeah, of all places I learned this recipe, or this addition, I've seen sauerkraut used. Brent's sauerkraut was in Lane County Jail. He was actually Chef Peter, and he actually became a chef at Lane County Community College for a year or two, helping with the baking program. That was back when the chef thing was still expanding, and everybody was, ooh, a chef, I want to be a chef. Then they figure out what a chef really is, and they're like, oh man, no way. Long hours and dirty and hot and greasy and people unhappy. But I'm like, no, dude, people happy. You know, long hours is good fun, man. Good food, right? So yeah, we're just gonna mix that right in there. Oh, sorry, I wasn't watching. I was watching what I was doing. I want to put some air in this too now. I just started getting it all beat together. And get it real airy. And before I get any gluten built up, it's just starting to get tight there. And just starting to get a little tight there. Yeah, now I'm going to stop it, right? Finish that a little bit, and that's tight, and then off. All right, and so I get it so light and fluffy, whoa, that it becomes like a soup. All right, there, back out. I'll put you in here so you see. And yeah, one of my favorite comfort foods is just plain old chocolate cake. I don't know. It's from the last. I got ill. I think it was because I had some old rancid. I think I told you guys. Yeah, be careful with your old meat, your old fats. Make sure you rotate them and clarify them. But I had some stuff that I didn't rotate right. I pulled it out and then left it somewhere and then put it back in and was going to check it and got it mixed up. Well, anyways, I made something out of that and it made me really, really ill. Right. And the only thing I could eat was chocolate cake for days. Yeah. I was even running when that happened. Well, not for the first day or two. I was out, man. I was down for like 3 days. And yeah, the first thing I could eat was chocolate cake. Yeah, I had a little bit of cottage cheese too. But this time I got chocolate cake, and I actually went and bought ice cream. And I was looking at ice creams. Now that's another thing we can do at home, but you have to buy the machine. And we can make ice cream. And I've been in many places where they've done it. I will tell you the truth, I personally have never done it, all right? But I've seen the process. I've seen the guys doing it right next to me. Just reading the instructions and, you know, look at the procedure. But anyways, but the dryers was the one, it was a lower price. And it started with skim milk, cream, sugar, corn syrup. Okay, I don't like corn syrup. But at least the first thing on there, first 3 things on there were like good things, you know. I know they're going to have to put in some carob gum, some xanthan gum, vanilla extract, great. Ground vanilla beans, guar gum, I know they got to put that in there. Molasses in their way. So, and corn syrup, plain corn syrup isn't as bad as high fructose corn syrup. I'm not going to sit there and try to pull your chain and say it's good for you, because right now corn is, they're just talking about GMOs, and corn is being massively, it's a cash crop, basically. Did a whole report on it. Get some pictures up on my Facebook about what old corn used to look like. It was real small. Corn is actually grass, and the outer cusp of the grass didn't show on a certain variety back in the Mayan days, and it was like 4 inches long. And so through natural farming techniques, they increase the length up to like 8 inches at the most, 8 inches. Yeah, you guys are like laughing. All right. And then Enzyte got, and Vibrant got, I mean, Monostat. It's all the same, man. They just want to have the biggest one around. You know what I mean? They got involved, GMO and got involved, and they got these suckers up to 12, 14 inches, 16 inches for sorghum and stuff like that. So, of course, for food, for the animal, you know, we're seeing the prime stuff for humans at the market. We're not seeing the animal food. And I'll tell you another thing about the animal food that'll really make you crazy is that a lot of cow licks have pseudoephedrine in them. It's the same stuff they make dope out of. A lot of chicken feed has pseudoephedrine in them. That means our meat has pseudoephedrine in them. What that does is makes you grow faster and bigger. But this is just all food truth. So anytime you eat something that lives off of corn and soy and the big processors instead of natural, you're taking your chances, man. I've been taking my chances eating that stuff all my life, man. I don't know how many sodas I had to kill me. Imagine if I didn't have all those sodas and I would have exercised early in life. Gee, pro football star, man, scholarly, you know what I mean? Never ill. But anyways, kicking over. Little straight trader, it's 350 for about 20 minutes. I wish I had some chunk chocolate too to go with it, but tomorrow's potluck and I don't want to overdo it, and yeah, I already did the double pasta, double meal. I have to eat twice now. I have to eat early and then eat again like 2 or 3 hours later, besides all my banana and snacking during the day. Am I snacking a little bit later, as in now, or in 20 minutes? Because my metabolism is running so high and heavy. But there's interesting facts about GMOs. I should talk GMOs, just do a study into it and tell you some more about it. But I've studied a lot already. I remember these 2 college students, and they were talking about We Are Corn, and they went and they had their hair sampled, and their hair sample broke down base element of what they were eating. Excuse me. Was corn. And that being from their meat, from all the processed foods, corn was everything, right? Their chicken, their meat, their pork, right? And so I personally took a personal endeavor to create a better like genetic array in my system, that so I'm not all corn. I want rices, I want grass-fed beef when I can, I want seafood, and now the seafood from Fukushima, now that's getting all messed up because 20 million gallons of, all right, I can go off on some things, you know what I mean? But we're talking about GMOs, and so like, you know, if they can give us proven results, which I have not, because I still hold by my ample concept, I still hold that the best food is created by the farmer, by natural hybrid movements or natural cloning solutions that we've worked out, not through GMO selection, because that's pushing the boundaries too far, and we don't know what it's doing to our, well, I know what it's doing. I think I know what it's doing. I sure look a lot healthier. A man of 46 years old, you know, I'm blah, blah, there. He used to have big, bushy hair all the way down my back. Can you imagine in a ponytail? Yeah. Well, a biker and all that thing. You know, yeah, but when I went upstate. But that a long time ago, back in my 20s. But look, man, it's in everything. I go down the aisle of any processed food in any store anywhere. I'm sorry, I gotta say all of them. And look at the food, and if it has, it's gonna have corn or soy in it, or wheat. But wheat isn't so bad. They haven't done too much to eat. They have so many different strains. But they have worked it. But when we're looking at the big cash crops, corn and soy, because you can flip those too, right? Wheat, you have to be a little bit more caring about it. But corn and soy, you can flip those two and get like 2 or 3 crops in 1 year. And that's what they're doing. And, I mean, yeah. The hotter they make it, the more sugar cane they can make, and the hotter they're making it, the more money they can make. It's all a big crazy thing. Let me get off my soapbox and just talk about GMOs and good food and comfort food. Hey, look, man, Chef John's Ghetto Gourmet. So these 2 students went to this Iowa a corn place, and they followed the corn all the way to where corn country was, checked on how the corn was processed, how it got in, who was the major buyers, and we're talking big money, big money, big money, you know, and we got corn doing this, corn doing that, corn doing this, corn doing, it's the most that you can create per acre, all right? And I remember my uncle George talking about growing soy and corn a long time ago when he had a farm, and he was like so mad because the government was giving him stipends to grow these two products, because these two products were the cash products, and these are not what he wanted to grow. You know, of course we have a family garden, but he had a family garden, we all did. But besides that, you know, really, we look back a long ways and we see what happened, man. New Coke, Captain Crunch, all this started convincing us, this explosion of food started convincing us to eat all these things. And we were like, wow, cool, look at all these flavors. But we didn't really think about where the flavors were coming from. And it's all coming from base foods, man. And now, in all the base foods, they're working the money so they can make the best money they can, which is by using what? Soy and corn. So go find a dressing without soy in it, it'll take you a while. Or soy or canola oil, all right, which is rapeseed. It's not as bad as soy. But anyways, man, and soy has a beanie flavor. I don't like it, right? But I dare you to find it, you know, or without corn, you know. I dare you to go find something without high fructose corn syrup or corn syrup in it, in some form that's a sugar base, or maybe like, you know, hamburger, you know, pre-made stuff, pre-made pizza, all this stuff, man. Start looking at what you're eating and start looking how much it is the same. Well, if it's all the same and everybody's eating the same food, and then the same bug comes along and gets everybody sick, man. That's why I don't get sick 4.5 years plus running, except for, you know, what I told you about. That was no fun. That's why I'm making chocolate cake. I wasn't sick lately, but yo, yeah, you'd be like, dang, chef. You'd be on it and you'd be like telling us the real deal, and then you just spin off somewhere, and you're like, ooh, you're off in little chef land. And then you come back and you're like, really, the whole thing was that these students really wanted to track their genetic code and genetic base cell structure, and then change their base cell structure and how long it took. And the body, each part of the body regenerates itself except for the brain, but then there's new findings that the brain cells, neurons are regenerating just at a different rate, and we just haven't realized how it works yet. But everything, the cells of the skin regenerates in 3 years. Everything's got a life in it, and it continues to grow, and that's the way it works. You know, that's the human body. Everything's growing all the time. Everything's replacing itself. So as you replace these chemicals in your system, first thing that's going to happen, it's going to start working out with me. I had a big headache, and I'm like, because you have all these poisons that are trying to get out. Because a lot of people are eating all this food and walking around with all these poisons in them, all this high fructose corn syrup, all these stuff that's in prepackaged food, in what they're selling to restaurants, because it's quicker and easier, you know, and it's the truth, you know. Unless you've got a good team, a good culinary team out to make things from scratch, they're giving, in these big restaurants, they're giving you prepackaged stuff. I've seen it. I've been in all these restaurants. I've made little places. I've seen the big corporate holdings and big, you know what I mean. I'm trying not to say their names, but you know what I mean. It's all the same. I've seen the distributors. I've seen it from the East Coast to the West Coast. Same thing with the food, right? They push what they've GMO'd, they push what they're making big money off of. Hothouse tomatoes, apples, are other things that on the list. Aroma went wild for a while. Just, you know, it needs to get back to the real farming that goes on in Eugene. Real farming makes better food makes better community makes more intelligent children, and it's just rock and roll sort of situation. Because this is what this is all about, and it's about the children, okay? Stop being lazy, sitting around. I'm sorry if you're a mom or a dad and you're hearing me right now and you think I'm attacking you. I'm saying you love your kids so much, and when you could be feeding them food that they really will enjoy, okay? Kids will eat anything as long as it's good tasting. and they're hungry, and you give them, like, you know, something they like carrot sticks or something that's good for them that they like, at the same time as you give them something different, it's a little hard for them to eat. But soon they start eating everything, man. I got kids eating quiche going, we love quiche, on my show somewhere, I can't find it. And kids eating all sorts of stuff, you know what I mean? It's possible, man. I've seen kids just do it, you know? And then again, I did see her go like that with that feta cheese once. She was like, I'm like, you didn't even put it in your mouth. Uh-huh. All right, Chef John, Ghetto Gourmet. This is what we're talking about. We're talking about real food. We're talking about families. We're talking about farm culture. We're talking about sustainability. We're talking about Eugene. We're talking about the food movement. We're talking about the skills and qualities of the chefs that run these institutions. Many of them my co-graduates and colleagues, and many I've seen growing in this town of Eugene and all through this valley, all the way up to Portland. We got to keep this under control. We have to keep this special haven of our food intact, because the rest of the country is having some issues, and let's say like boonies, like we kind of boonies out here. We think we something, but we the boonies. I'm from Washington D.C., so I can talk my little neck. You know what I mean? When it takes you 2.5 hours to get across town, a city, you know what I mean? Even 15 minutes to get across this town on my motorcycle back in the day. Zoom, zoom. All right, look. Back to GMOs, back to food, back to living better. The reality is what we got to do for our children. We got to make this small investment in time. If you watch my show, you're going to learn my tricks, and you'll be like, all I got to do is buy cornstarch or flour and oil instead of buying margarine or butter. Instead of buying margarine, I can get off of butter and margarine, get back to real butter. And yes. Here, let me show you something. No, actually, what I'll do is stick with this concept right now, and then I'm going to show you something right back. Because me and Cookie, we got some ideas, and we're going for barely started. But anyways, I showed this to somebody the other day when I was working out. Peace.